I don't know what we did before radio, but, you know, radio was a big treat for us growing up. I was the youngest of 5 children, and the radio was a Christmas gift for my oldest sister, Juanita. And we all would gather around the radio to listen. And I would sit sometime on Sunday afternoon with my father, and he would get his favorite baseball teams. My oldest brother, he loved country western, so he would get Nashville on the radio and listen to the country westerns. I grew up in that big band era when they had all of the big bands would play, and my sister and I would dance to those bands on a Saturday night. We had movies that were done on the radio, and we loved those. We simply loved those. One was called Hollywood, and the other show was called Screen Guild Players. I can remember hearing of Pearl Harbor on the radio. I was 10 years old. And I can remember when Roosevelt died. It was just a sad, sad time. During the World War II, because we had a brother in the Navy. My father, whenever there was trouble with any of the ships, especially in the Pacific, where my brother was, my father would pace the floor and he would switch the radio stations trying to get new information about what was going on in the Pacific. The NAACP had a Sunday afternoon show, and one time I was on that. That was my only participation on the radio, I think. We had like a little, maybe a half an hour on WOAY, and that was during the early years of WOAY. I talked about the NAACP, and then someone sang a song, and it was like just a mini program that we gave. You know, it was a fun thing to do. I was going to walk to Whipple to catch the bus. We did a lot of walking back then, and one of my brother's friends came along with his car, and he said, "Alma, where are you going?" And I told him where I was going, and he said, "Well, listen, I'll take you over there." And I'll never forget, he drove me all the way over to the station, and he says, "I'm going back to Carlisle, and I'm going to tell everybody that I see, you know, that you're going to be on the radio, so they'll listen." You know, I never will forget that. Yes.
Do you think radios made you use your imagination more?
Yes, I definitely do, because when you listen to something and you imagine that you were in the place where it happened, especially if you were listening to a movie and you couldn't see the movie. When you think about it, the radio filled in a lot of the spaces that maybe television takes for granted that you are seeing, but they had to tell you. So you learned a lot of the background when you were listening to radio. Radio is not a bad thing. radio's a very good thing.